Heraclitus once said, change is the only constant in life, and so we change and we adapt and we make do with this very unusual semester. Little did we know how the semester would end up when we first started back in January, but we adapt and we make do, and we will make the best of the circumstances that we're faced with. So this video is kind of an overview of where we're going to go for the remainder of the semester, and I hope to answer, if not all of your questions, a lot of them. So if you'll play this and be attentive and maybe even go back and play a couple of other pieces, just to make sure that you have all the details correct. I am obviously always available by email, and we'll be happy to answer your questions as we go forward. It's not going to be easy, I know, to make this adaptation. Some people are very nervous about taking online classes. They don't want to do it. Some people are excited about it. Some people are like, I love online classes. I'm a little half and half. I always have been. I've done online classes for over a decade now, and I tend to try to keep it very simple. I don't try to go and invest hours and hours and thousands of hours in time using lots of fancy software. I just like to get the point across, make my lectures, facilitate discussion, and do meaningful assignments, and that's what we're going to have to do here. So you're going to notice that I'm going to be using several tools. One of the tools, of course, is Canvas. I don't particularly like Canvas, and I'm still sort of learning everything about Canvas, so be patient with me. But one of the best tools I've found that I use is just really simple, one that everybody already knows, and that's YouTube, which is where you found this particular video. So we're going to go through the different ways that we're going to be making some adaptations and changes to our class, and how we're going to facilitate that, and then we're going to get started where we left off, and I'll show you how that works. So the first step is to talk about our syllabus, okay? And I'm going to need to expand this out just a little bit here, this way, and well, I'll have to go this way. Again, we're having to go on the fly here, okay? I have altered our syllabus to reflect the different way that we're doing content delivery for the class, and I will have had it updated into Canvas. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to upload, but by the time you see this video, hopefully it'll be uploaded, the new version of the syllabus in Canvas. And this is where we're going. Today is March 23rd, and I'm going to give you the update on the transition to the online class. And then our discussion and exploration of the murder complex will begin on Wednesday and extend until the next week, which is Monday, March the 30th, at which time we'll pick up the Hunger Games. And then after that, we'll check out the film version of the Hunger Games. And I've got some material I want to cover with you about film and film technique, review of the final exam question bank, those kinds of things. On April 13th, we'll discuss the Hunger Games film version. You're going to need to get access to the film on your own. That shouldn't be too hard. It's everywhere. And then our final novel for the course, of course, is Station 11, and we're going to be doing that as well. We're going to need to speed things up a bit. They took a week away, and you guys were having fun and playing Uno or whatever you were doing for your extra week of spring break. So we're going to have to make up a little lost time here. So we're going to spend a little bit less time on each novel, but that shouldn't be terribly difficult. These are either novels that you're already familiar with, or they're very quick reads, so it shouldn't give you a lot of grief. Plus, you're going to have a lot of downtime to be able to dedicate to it. So we're going to cover the same amount of ground that we had planned to do. We're just going to do it in a little bit more compressed format. And then we will have some team time and reader response number 2 due on April 22nd. I'm going to scooch this and hope you can see it here. And then we'll do our teen film scene presentations. I'm going to talk more about how we're going to do that later on. And then our final exam is May the 7th. That will be submitted by email. And you'll notice that everything we do, all will be submitted by midnight. That just keeps it so much easier. So on March the 25th, there'll be a quiz you need to turn in, and just a post to our discussion board. Both those need to be done by midnight that night. Generally speaking, I'll post my video lecture in the morning, and then you'll have the afternoon and evening all the way up to midnight to get your stuff into me by email. And we'll talk more about that as well. Okay, so that's that. This is all part of the updated syllabus. It should be in Canvas by the time you see this. If it's not, give it an hour or two, and it'll be up there. But this is where we're going, and you can refer to this until you see the actual syllabus. Okay. So next, what is our regular routine going to be? Well, we don't come to regular face-to-face classes when we're doing it online, but I have a regular routine that I like to follow. Keep it simple. Real easy for everybody to follow. Nobody gets tripped up. I don't try to pull off fancy maneuvers because I find that it's just easier for people to follow a regular routine. The regular routine will be on the designated date. I will post a video lecture, usually in the morning. Sometimes if I have technical problems, I live out in the boonies. Internet access can be a little bit sketchy sometimes. But generally speaking, you can look for the video lecture to be posted that morning, the morning of that date. My YouTube channel, which you have found, right, is simply my name, Guy Litton. So far, no stalkers. We'll see. But I do have a lot of followers that are just really interested in my lectures. I have no idea. They must have a lot of time on their hands. Maybe they're death row prisoners with a lot of time to kill. I don't know. But I'll post that in the mornings, and then you will need to respond to the quiz that will usually be announced in the video. Okay, so I'll give you the quiz in the video, and you'll need to send your answer to the quiz questions to my email address, and then go in and post your response to whatever discussion prompt I've posted, and you'll need to do both of those by midnight that night that the lecture goes up. Okay, so if I get it posted like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, normally I'll send out an email saying, we're posted, right? Just so you know, you're not waiting around looking for it all day. When you get that email, then you can go take your quiz. You can post your discussion comment, listen to the lecture, and then you're done for the day, right? All this is very important. All quizzes and correspondence, and I should add any assignments, reader responses, team scene productions, final exams, need to go to my alfredlitton@yahoo.com email. Why? Number one, Canvas is notorious for not getting me the emails for a long time or getting them lost. And secondly, when I do an online class, I really have to try to segregate out the work for the class from my regular work as the honors program director. Okay? So if stuff is going from my classes going into my regular TWU account, it can get buried by the 1,001 requests and meetings and all that kind of stuff. This way, I check my Yahoo and I know what's in there. It's you guys, right? So nobody gets their stuff lost. So it's really important. Don't use Canvas to email me, and don't email my TWU account. Instead, use the Yahoo, because that's the one I'm reserving for you guys. Okay, I'm doing that specially for you. Okay, so that's our routine. In the morning, I post the video lecture. I send you an email that says, hey, it's up. And then you check it out. You then respond to the quiz, make your discussion comment, post your discussion comment, do all of that by midnight. And then you're good for the next 2 days or whatever it is. And you can just keep on reading and preparing and all of that. Okay. So, all right. So now that leads us to the question of how are we going to adapt assignments and exams? So first of all, consult the syllabus for due dates. All the submissions are to be made to, you guessed it, my alfredlitton@yahoo.com email address. Reader response number 2 and the final exam question bank will be posted to the assignments section as quickly as I can. I am trying to get caught up with everything. I apologize for being so far behind on everything. This big shift meant that I and my whole staff in the honors office had to do some really, really quick honors work, right? We're in the middle of recruitment season and scholarships and meetings and orientation planning and all of that kind of stuff. So we were just thrown for a real loop by this whole idea of closing, and we had to get some stuff really sealed up fast and done fast. And I've been doing all that rather than paying as much attention as I'd like to have on our class. Glad I did that, because as of midnight on the 24th, we are forbidden basically to go into our offices. So I had to pull all the stuff I needed out of the office. Jessica had to bring stuff home. Beth, Taylor, Kristen had to pull all that stuff, bring it home, and we have to work remotely. So we had to get a lot of things done. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to devote all my time for the next 2 or 3 days to get completely caught up, get you back on track. We'll have the reader response 2 up. I'll have the final exam question bank posted. Everything will be up and running here within the next, say, 72 hours. Okay? Now, the changes that we're making to the teen film scene assignment. We need to make some changes because we were going to do those in person. Well, obviously we can't do that. But hey, the internet allows us to do some cool stuff that you couldn't do years ago. And we're just going to do our best to do that. You're in a team. You have a film. You've hopefully selected your scene. You've divvied some assignments up. You're going to need to make some adjustments to that. Okay? Not the former, but the very last one. Each team is going to need a project manager who will compile and edit the final product. What I really want is a PowerPoint. I guess you could do a Prezi if you want to. It doesn't matter to me the format so much as it needs to be a presentation platform that you're using that allows you to use audio visual. Okay? Could be video clips, could be audio, whatever it happens to be. It's going to need to be audio, some audio. Okay? Each member of your team, stay with your topic, stay with your novel, stay with your scene. Each member needs to produce the content that you agreed on. Okay? So if somebody's going to do lighting and somebody's going to do editing and somebody's going to do casting and someone's going to do some other aspect, what have you, stick with that, except that each member's speaking part is going to need to consist of an embedded audio file to be inserted into the relevant PowerPoint slides for your section. So if I'm doing costuming and I'm doing it in the murder complex, okay, then I've got like the 4th or 5th slide in the PowerPoint. I need to do my speaking part. I need to record that and embed it into that slide so that when someone's watching it, as I hope we'll all be able to share it, when someone's watching it, they can hear me narrate what needs to be said. You're not going to be there physically present, but we need to hear your voice walk us through it. Does everybody follow that? I hope I made that clear. Now, I'm going to leave it up to you guys who are way younger and therefore way more technologically efficient than I am to be able to decide these questions of the types of platforms you're going to use and that kind of stuff. You hopefully have been meeting together or have had a chance to meet together once or twice. You've swapped your contact information, and all should be well with that. So I would encourage you to get reconnected, figure out who's going to be the project manager. I'm happy to give you extra credit for doing the extra work. You will have my undying appreciation, but you got to have one person that's going to kind of pull it together. Everybody submits content to the project manager, and project manager spends about an hour or so making sure all the slides fit together and all the stuff is where it's supposed to be. That should not be too hard. And then that's the person that sends it to me. Okay. And I'll try to figure out how to get it up on Canvas so that everybody can see it. So the project manager is going to receive the content from everybody, pull it all together into a single presentation, and submit the final product to me. I'll then publish it on Canvas and you can see what everybody else did, and we'll pull it off from there, okay? Hopefully that'll all work. Hopefully that'll be really cool, and we'll get that done in very short order. That's the goal here, okay? Now, on the final exam, I'm going to create, as I said, a bank of questions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you which question, I'm going to publish that. You can study those questions and figure out what your responses are going to be to that. I am going to time it, right? I'm going to tell you when the actual exam questions that will be selected from that bank will be available for you to start writing on. And I'm going to give you a specific amount of time to do it. It will be longer than a regular final exam window of time. So a regular final exam is like 3 hours, I think, 2.5 hours. I've forgotten how much it is, but I will probably give at least twice that much time to do this. So I may say to you on May 7th, here are the 2 questions out of 5 that you need to write on. I will probably do that in the morning, and I will probably give you somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 6 hours to do it. And that's simply because I don't really want you to spend 5 or 6 hours doing it. You really shouldn't. You shouldn't spend more than about 2.5 hours at the most. But some people can't start exactly when the start time is supposed to be. They've got other things that they've got to do, and I understand that. But I am going to limit it to a window because the temptation on the part of honor students is to say, well, if he gave me 3 days to do it, I'm going to write a 40-page final exam. Don't do that, okay? Just answer succinctly, do your best, provide the best evidence you can, the most thoughtful responses, supported by examples from the text, okay? And I'm going to give you a window that's at least twice the regular time of a final exam, not because I want you to fill all that time with writing, but because I want to give some flexibility. Some people might not be able to start until a little later. Some people might want to start early and finish earlier, whatever that happens to be, okay? So this is a hypothetical. I might come in and say, okay, the exam starts at 9, and you guys have until 3 o'clock in the afternoon to finish and submit to my Yahoo account, okay? If you got some questions about that, send me an email. I am available for you to get in touch with. I'm going to be working at my home. If they ever let me back in my office, I'll be up there a little bit, but I'll always be available by email. And if you have some real problems, I'll give you some other contact information so you can get in touch with me. All right, hang in there. I will have the very first lecture on the murder complex up on Wednesday in the morning. I'll try to get caught up on everything else between now and then. Do start reading or keep reading, keep going at it, and we're going to finish strong, and hopefully we're going to... I'm glad I didn't do a novel about the zombie apocalypse, because if every novel we're doing is coming true, that's something I don't want to deal with. So maybe I should have done something... Goodnight Moon or Cat in the Hat, huh? Maybe that's what I should have done. Would have turned out better. Okay. All right. Hang in there. Contact me if you need some help. I'm going to be right here for you, and we'll be in touch on Wednesday.